Yeah!
Today's episode of To Be Frank is brought to you by Surfside. Surfside, no bubbles, no troubles. Guys, if you haven't tried Surfside, you need to give them a try. I want to say thank you to Surfside for providing all the beverages that they did for this year's Champagne Showcase. If you don't know what they are, it's iced tea and vodka, no carbonation, and they also have a lemonade flavor as well. And then they also have half and halves. And very excited to announce for Surfside that they actually just came out with new flavors of their half and half. So it always was iced tea and lemonade half and half, which is my favorite. That's the GOAT. That's the number one. I could drink 100 of them a day, and I actually have. I have done that in a day. But they have new ones: blackberry half and half and vodka, raspberry half and half, and then mango half and half. And now they also have a blueberry flavor as well. So Surfside's growing. They're supporting Champagne Athletics. They're supporting To Be Frank, and we love Surfside. No bubbles, no troubles. Go try them if you haven't. They're awesome, and it's going to be your new canned cocktail. It's going to be your new RTD for the season, and as it warms up, you're really going to want to get your hands on these, so go try Surfside. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to episode 3 of To Be Frank. It's good to be here, good to be talking with you guys. This past weekend, we had a monumentous day for American U.S. hockey. Went down in history. Everyone was tuned in. Everyone was watching. Everyone knows what was going down. And that, of course, is the 5th annual Champagne Showcase at Clark Park. Outdoor hockey tournament to raise money for Clark Park. If you haven't been to Clark Park, it's an absolute gem of an ice arena. Outdoors, boards, Zambonis, whole 9 yards. You guys have heard me talk about it. Love that place. So had the showcase this weekend. 5th year we've done it. This year we got up to 12 teams. This thing started back in 2021 with 4 teams and 2 games. Used to be a small little tournament, and now this year we're up to 12 teams and 6 games. And let me tell you guys, it was an absolute success. Starting at 10 a.m., going all the way until 8:30 at night. Like I said, 12 teams, about 160 plus players were involved in this. Refs, music, food trucks, beer tent, whole 9 yards. Great event. But I kind of want to talk to you guys about, how we got there, what led into it, and just a few anecdotes, and then I want to give out a few thank yous. So leading into this week, it's the coldest winter in recent memory. We're having like 2-degree days most of the time, snow every single day. And then the week of the showcase, it shoots up to 50 degrees. It was absolutely balmy out. The warmest week we've had in 2026. And we were pretty worried we were not going to have ice for this event. But good thing, it was very foggy. So a lot of the fog apparently helped with the UV rays and the sun not getting to the ice. I don't know ice management or weather or anything about how that works. But it was warm, snow was melting, but apparently the ice was holding up just fine. But it didn't seem like that midweek. Midweek I'm texting the park and they're like, hey, ice is melting and 2 of the 3 compressors have broken, which is always great. It's tradition for the Champagne Showcase for one of these compressors to break. And just our luck this year, the hottest week of the year, it's 2 of them went down. But all as well as it ends well. The last 2 nights, Thursday night, Friday night, leading into Saturday, temperatures dropped, the fog increased, and the compressors got fixed. So actually, for this year's showcase, we probably had the best ice conditions we've ever had. So that was fantastic. And, the teams involved this year, want to just thank all of them: Glass Recyclers, RFO Partners, Diag Partners, Artisan Capital Management, the Bruisers, presented by Men's League Sweaters, Lania Detroit, Champagne Athletics, Bolin Financial, Holiday Lighting Authority, Ironfish Distillery, Iris Mortgage, and Presses for Industry. So, like I said, 6 games throughout the day. And honestly, a lot of the games this year, pretty lopsided. Some lopsided scores out there. Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. We like the games to be closer, a little more competitive, but we had some lopsided ones. So game 1, Glass Recyclers, RFO Partners, those are all buddies that all know each other. That's one big group of people split into 2 teams, and apparently they did not pick even teams because Glass Recyclers put the hurt on them, 7-3. Game 2, Diag set a rink record, a showcase record for 12 goals put up, beat Artisan Capital Management, who I think was missing a few players. They lose 12-5. The Bruisers, great group of guys there. They're brought to you by Men's League Sweaters. They're out there every year. Very close game against newcomer Lania Detroit. Lania, if you don't know Lania, downtown Detroit restaurant, go check them out. Same restaurant owners as the Shelby. So two great restaurants there. So Men's League Sweaters just edged out Lania 6-5. Game 4. Now, Champaign Athletics for the first 3 years did not win a game in this tournament. 0-3, pretty embarrassing. Last year, we get off the schneid, win, I think 6-3, 6-2, something like that last year, maybe 5-3, something like that. Closer game, but we ended up winning, beating Bolin. And then this year, Bolin got bit by the injury bug. A couple people out of town, a couple people injured, couldn't make the game. And we had some fill-ins that were pretty good. We had some pretty damn good fill-ins, and we took care of business. Won 11-4. Always appreciate Bolin Financial, but, glad we're catching up in the win column. 11-4 Champaign wins. Game 5, Holiday Lighting Authority. Ice Cold Brew Lou, that's his business. You need holiday lights, you call Lou. You need mosquito help, you call Lou. Those two teams that played, Holiday Lighting Authority played Ironfish Distillery. We got a little bit of a rivalry going with these two. This is year 2 that they've played each other, and Game 5 is always where I got to keep my head on a swivel for some fisticuffs. It's later in the day. It's the 5 p.m. game, so we've been going, since 10 a.m. We've been at it for fucking 7 hours. People have been drinking, and it's the Holiday Lighting Authority. It's my blue-collar crew versus Ironfish Distillery, my liquor company. So it always gets a little chippy in that game, and they're very evenly matched. Ironfish won last year, I'm pretty sure, in like a 1 or 2 goal game. They had a 2-0 lead in this one, ended up losing 5-2. So Holiday Lighting Authority gets their first victory of the showcase. Congratulations to you. And then Game 6, Iris Mortgage played Presses for Industry. Presses for Industry pulled off the upset last year, beating Iris Mortgage in overtime. Great way to end the showcase. And then this year, I don't know if Iris stacked the team or what happened, but 10-2 final for the last game. So a lot of thank yous to throw out for this one. It was an awesomely successful year. The biggest number, even though I just listed a bunch of scores, the biggest number we want to talk about is $28,000 raised. So that was very, very exciting. The most we ever raised was $23,500 the year prior. But I do have some numbers here that I want to pull up as far as donations go. And I'm looking right now. Herb from Bolin Financial had them for me. I got to find them. So let me see. I wanted to show you guys the numbers from year 1 to now. And I can't find them. But I know year 1 we raised like $1,500, and I know last year we raised $23,500, and I think the year before that we had about $10,000. So I think we went about $1,500, $8,000, $10,000, $23,000, and now we did $28,000. So next year, we're definitely going to cross that elusive $30,000. But want to thank everybody who gave money, participated in the raffle, donated to this. So I have like a bunch of thank yous to fire out, and I am going to fire out every one of them. So I'll try to make this quick, but they deserve to be shouted out here. So National Fleet Services, thank you so much for the raffle tickets for the Red Wings game. That was the marquee giveaway item. Grobel's donated to the event. We appreciate that. And Grobel's Garage was on site slanging sandwiches as one of the food trucks. Flagstar Bank's Kyle Gazowski, he donated to the event. Thank you for that. Zach at Gamut Collab for filming everything throughout the entire day. Beto, Anthony, and everyone at Clark Park who got up early, stayed late, did everything to get that ice ready for the event. Ironfish's Troy Anderson, who is taking all the photos. Every photo you see online, Troy Anderson took it. Really appreciate you, Troy. At Properties, Joe Semenkus, he gave the solo stove this year. Labatt Blue gave us 300 beers. Surfside gave us hundreds of Surfsides to drink. Ame Tacos, another food truck on site. They are the most underrated food truck in Detroit. Awesome tacos, Ame Tacos, really appreciate you. Diamond Dogs, my girl, thank you so much. Year 5 at the showcase, the #1 hot dog queen of Detroit. She was serving up dogs all day. Cafe Clark, coffee on site, hot chocolates, mochas, all that stuff you want. They were there slanging all that. Ryan, Lewis, and Ernest for reffing the games and doing the scorekeeping. Green Dot Stables, Yellow Light, Kiesling, they all donated to the raffle. Grayson Detroit donated to the raffle. JW Westcott, 2 boat tours donated for the raffle. Hustle Threads, Bill, you're the man. Thank you so much for being on site and slanging all the merchandise that you do every year. I bought the White Russian poster from you. It is so sick. I'm looking at it right now in my office. Shelby Detroit, I mentioned them before. They donated to the raffle. Better Made, they're part of the raffle. Royal Oak Leprechauns, raffle. Eastside Bagel, raffle. TM Events and Social, thanks so much for spinning the 1s and 2s all day. You were awesome. Tent Man Joe for the awesome tent that we were in. Jets Pizza for some freebies. My wife and my newborn son, thank you for supporting me throughout this. My wife, mostly the support. My son, thank you for stopping crying for 5 minutes so I could skate you around the ice. Boland's John Herbert, who I mentioned, he's a huge help. My right-hand man during this whole thing, couldn't do it without him. Cassidy Herbert, thank you for always coming early and staying late, helping us with anything we need. Jack, thank you for bringing the ice luge. And then Mike T, thank you for editing all this footage as always, and he's producing this podcast right now. So thank you to everyone who is involved with it. We're very happy to have raised the money that we did. And now we're on to the next thing. We want to do this with golf. So golf is a different beast. I understand hockey. I know hockey. I understand how hockey events work. I don't fully understand it with golf. So I'm going to have a lot to learn. I'm going to have a lot of people around me. But that's our goal. And whether we get it done this year or not, it will happen eventually. But keep an eye out for the Champagne Invitational. I don't know if that's what we're going to call it, but I kind of like that as a working title. So great day at the showcase. Awesome weather. A lot of people out there. Good times to be had. If you haven't made it down there, make it. And if you have suggestions, let us hear it. If you want to get involved, if you want to donate, if you want to have a team, let us know. Can't let every team in that applies, but, if you got a good pitch for me, we'll get you in. So appreciate you. Guys, this episode of To Be Frank is brought to you by Jets Pizza. You know Jets Pizza. Better because it has to be the best pizza in the world. Love Jets Pizza. Whether you're getting extra ranch, pepperoni, you're getting a turbo crust. You guys all have your special Jets orders, but I want to let you guys know that popcorn chicken is back at Jets Pizza. I know we're normally getting pizza from there. Maybe you get some jet bread, but give their wings a shot. Try their popcorn chicken. We all love Jets Pizza. Talking about Jets right now has me thinking about Jets, and I'm pretty hungry. Makes me want to get it right now. You can text to order. You can order online. You can call as well. But there's a Jets near you, and you're thinking about it. Jets this weekend. That's the answer. Better because it has to be. We appreciate you, Jets. Moving on to the second biggest hockey story of the weekend, USA Hockey wins gold not only for the women's but also the men. The men taking it in overtime versus Canada for the first time since 1980 on Jack Hughes' overtime goal. What an electric game, an electric moment. It was awesome. Any hockey fan who watched that game, got up early at 8 a.m., after attending the showcase and watched that game, just had to feel so much pride and joy for watching those guys beat Canada in overtime. Now, it's been a long week. It's been a lot of up and down with how happy we are for the hockey team and what the hell ever happened after. Now, good news for you guys is I focus on the sports side of things, and I'm going to stick positive with this thing. So if you're looking for hot takes or political stances or anything like that, this is really not the spot to do it. I really just wanted to focus on the hockey and how excited I am for Team USA taking home gold for the first time since 1980. So looking at this team, looking up and down, watching them every game. Let's start with our boy Larkin. I mean, he's the Detroit Red Wing. He had, I feel like, an outstanding tournament, and I feel like he plays very well on these big national stages. He did it with Four Nations last year. He scored 2 big goals in the tournament this year. His face-off percentage was through the roof. And then he was on the ice for the final goal along with, Zach Rowensky and Jack Hughes and Connor Hellebuck, all Michiganders at one point in their lives. So that was incredible for Larkin. The Hughes brothers. Holy shit. Let's talk about a collection of talent. They led all of the U.S. in points. They both had, it looks like Quinn had 8 points. Jack had 7. Quinn with 1 goal, the overtime winner, which we all watched and loved, versus Sweden, which was awesome, and then 7 assists. Jack Hughes netted 4 goals, obviously the game winner over Canada, and had 3 assists. But Jack Hughes was also a +8. So amazing tournament for him. Austin Matthews also had 7 points, but honestly, I would have had no idea. I feel like his points weren't as big and he wasn't as loud and proud out there, but I mean, he was putting the puck in the net too, I guess, as well. Jack Eichel with 6 points, and then, Zach Werenski with 4 as well. And where did our boy Larkin land? Did he just have the 2 goals? Let's take a look. Larkin had 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist. But talking about that final game versus Canada, what an awesome display of talent going both ways. Being fair, being honest, watching that game, Canada they were the better team. They were the better team. They were more dominant. They had more pressure. They were more talented. And they got goalied. They got goalied by Connor Hellebuck, who played one of, if not the most fantastic goaltending performances I've ever seen. One of the most dominating performances in recent memory. And it was one of those games where Connor Hellebuck was playing so good that if you missed your opportunities, you knew it was going to come back to bite you, and that's exactly what happened. Nathan MacKinnon, one of the greatest hockey players in the world right now, top 5 player, wide open net to put the game away. Connor Hellebuck not out of position, but just didn't get over quick enough, and he absolutely whiffs and misses the open net. I mean, if he didn't bury there, you knew you were giving the U.S. a chance to steal the game, and that's exactly what happened. The save in the crease on the goal step there. I mean, absolutely incredible stuff, unbelievable stuff. Charlie McAvoy putting his body in front of the net to save a goal. There were so many chances that Canada had to put that game away, and they just couldn't do it because Connor Hellebuck was that good. He was that good. Speaking of that good, Boldy's goal. Holy shit. I know Jack Hughes will be the one played over and over throughout history. He's the most, the photogenic, everything that happened after. That's going to be the highlight reel. But the Boldy goal was actually one of the craziest individual performances of the Olympics, if not the most impressive goal of the whole tournament. Obviously, without that, the USA probably loses 1-0. That goal was a highlight reel goal, and it was incredible. So moving to overtime, Canada puts the three best players in the world on the ice. McDavid, McKinnon, Makar, and they win the opening draw. And from that moment, I was like, well, we're in deep trouble. I thought we had to win that draw to have a chance to win the game, and they win it back. They get first possession, and I just thought we were in deep shit. But then, honestly, Connor McDavid tried to just do it all himself, it felt like. It looked like he tried to just use his speed and break it right up the middle and do it all himself, and it caused the first turnover. And quite honestly, I was pretty shocked at Canada's puck possession and how they handled overtime. It just didn't seem like they had too much care for holding on to the puck or keeping possession, and USA took advantage of it, and they were the ones who ended up netting at the end of the game. Now, those are the rules. It's 3-on-3, but do I think it's the correct, do I think that's how the gold medal game should be decided? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't understand why for such a large game on such a large scale, they go to 3-on-3. It should be 5-on-5 hockey until someone scores. All of the medal round playoff games should be 5-on-5 hockey until someone scores. I don't know if they're worried about injuries. I don't know if it's an NHL influence thing, like, hey, you're going to have our players, so we don't want them wearing on their body that much. Whatever it is, it's really stupid. So, for Canada, if you want to bitch and moan, bitch and moan all you want. You were the better team during regulation. You got goalied. And it is bullshit that it's 3-on-3 overtime. I'm not going to argue any one of those situations. But at the end of the day, given the rules that you already knew and the parameters of it, we won. USA won the game. We're the gold medal champions for the first time since 1980. And you can bitch and moan and scream and be mad all you want, but you can't take it away from us. And that's how it goes. And if it was the other way around, we'd feel the same way. Sometimes that's just how hockey goes in a one-game elimination. For people saying if this was a 7-game series, Canada would have won in 5, I think that's crazy. I think this would be a 7-game series all day. I think those are the 2 best hockey teams in the entire world. I think overall Canada is a better team, and if it did go 7, they would probably win. But then again, we've seen so many NHL series that are 7 games, and whoever has the hotter goalie ends up winning. And Connor Hellebuyck is the hottest goalie in the whole world. So congrats to Team USA. Congrats to the men and the women. Hockey domination this year at the Olympics in Milan. Top of the world feeling. Most of these guys, the number one moment of their hockey career. I literally can't imagine having my family at the Olympics and winning gold medal with the 1980 Olympic team there. Just a surreal feeling, a career milestone, the highest you can go. So congrats to all of you. It's a life-changing event, and it's nothing you can ever be taken away from you. So congrats to the gold medalists. And congrats to the women as well, of course. I just am not going to sit here and act like I know as much about the women's hockey dynamic as I do the men's. I watch men's hockey every single night. I watch every single Red Wings game. I'm more invested in that. And I, as much as I wouldn't sit here and talk about bobsled or curling or other events that I don't watch or cover, I just don't know the dynamics and the ins and outs of the women's team outside of I know they lost last year in the gold medal game and they won this year, and I'm very proud for them as well. I just can't go in depth talking about it because I don't know as much about it as I do the men's team. So congrats to both of you. Happy for both. Love that USA is king of the hockey world until the next Olympics. It's awesome. Guys, I love Men's League sweaters. Men's League sweaters outfitted all 12 teams for the Champagne Showcase this year, and they all looked phenomenal. Year in and year out, they provide the most amazing quality, the fastest shipping times, the most easy designed jerseys you'll ever get. You got to go check out their website. It's so fun to play with the customizer, upload your own logo. And if you're not a designer, you don't need to be. You can work with one of their designers to get exactly what you're looking for. They can sublimate anything on a jersey. My buddy, financial advisor, Bolin Financial, he got a 401k jersey. It says 401k on the back. They can do anything for you. Holiday Lighting, Pizzo and the boys, they got an awesome jersey as well. Pink and blue and all these different colors. They are great, awesome folks that work there too, Michigan-based company. So next time your team is looking for jerseys or you need something custom for a special event, go check out Men's League sweaters. They also do bags, they do skate guards, they do towels, they do a bunch of stuff. So go check out Men's League sweaters. We love them, and they support To Be Frank. But now let's bring it back home. Let's bring it out of Italy. Let's get back to Detroit. Let's talk about the Red Wings. USA hockey, the Olympics are fun. That's all great. Love the gold medal. Got to tell you, would much rather have a Stanley Cup. Let's start with a playoff berth, though. Red Wings coming back to a very tough schedule to close the year, and now it is put up or shut up time for the Detroit Red Wings. It is the end of February, a couple more days in February, and then the vaunted March is here. The last 2 seasons, the Red Wings have lost their playoff positioning, have not made the playoffs, and fully collapsed when it comes to March. This year's team feels better, looks stronger, is deeper. Will they actually step up and prove it, or will they lay down and fall asleep? They come back to not an easy schedule whatsoever, like I said, and they start their first 3 games on the road. And this schedule is no fucking joke. We come back to Ottawa, who always gives us fits, at Ottawa, at Carolina, at Nashville, who's been better lately. We play Vegas, we play Florida, we go at New Jersey, at Florida, at Tampa, at Dallas. That it gets us to March 14th. That is a gauntlet of a schedule. And the Wings need to scratch and claw for every single point that they can go for. Now, I am so curious to see how we come out of this break from the guys who are home resting, from Dylan Larkin, who is probably still drunk from partying for the last 5 days. How will they come out and respond? Because I'll tell you one thing, for a Red Wings fan base right now, winning this first game versus Ottawa will do wonders for their confidence, our confidence, and everything. They lose this game tomorrow, you're going to hear so many people say, oh my God, here we go, February and March, it's beginning again. And these are all very losable games. One bad week, and the Wings are out of the playoffs. So let's take a look at it right now. Buffalo won last night, of course. They continue to stay hot, beating New Jersey. But if we're looking at the Atlantic Division, Tampa Bay's 8 points ahead, hottest team in the NHL with 80 points. After that is Montreal with 72, Buffalo, who just won again, like I said, with 72, and then us sitting at 72 as well. The closest after that is the Boston Bruins with 69 points, and then there's a drop-off to Ottawa at 63, Toronto at 63, and then the Florida Panthers down at 61. Kind of curious where the Florida Panthers end up landing this year. You got to imagine Tkachuk, after winning a couple of cups, and now the gold medal is just like, I don't know, maybe we mail it in this year. You know, Marchand too, like maybe they call it a season, but we'll see. Same with Toronto. Like, does Austin Matthews have that fight in him? And what I want to know is, does Larkin have this fight in him? I mean, he was just raging his face off for all those days, and good for him. I don't blame any of those guys for partying as hard as they wanted to party. They can do whatever they want. You know, I actually just feel a little bad for them that everything they do is on camera. Everything they do is filmed no matter where they go. I mean, if you think our Wings in the 90s and the early 2000s weren't raging just as hard, you're crazy. It's just now that now everything in the world is filmed. You know, even the stuff in the locker room. Like, if not everyone's filming all the time, we probably don't have a week's worth of controversy. But I digress. The Detroit Red Wings are in a unique position to make the playoffs this year, and they need not squander it. I don't care how hard the schedule is. I don't care about, you know, one of our best players playing overseas in the Olympics. There are no excuses this year. And the reason I think they're going to be able to make the playoffs this year, the key differences are the young guys are better. Edvinson's better. Marco Kasper is better. I know his production's been down, but he's been playing great as of late. Axel Sandin-Pellikka has been awesome. I mean, Mo Seider's having like a Norris-type year. The younger guys are better, and it's awesome to watch. Goaltending. Started off shaky to start the year, but John Gibson's arguably been one of the best goalies in the NHL this season, one of the hottest goalies. We are solidified at that position finally for the first time in years. So we're better, we have stronger goaltending, and we've had a full year of Todd McClellan. And I feel like those three things are what is going to push us into the playoffs. Now, where will we land? Right now we're in the top wildcard spot in the East. And if we're looking at moneypuck.com, we currently have a 77.4% chance to make the playoffs. And according to MoneyPuck, our best odds to make the playoffs is finishing second in the division. That's what they think. They think we have a 24.3% chance to finish second in the Atlantic and make the playoffs. I mean, that would be really nice. They only give us a 1.7% chance of making the wild card. But like I said, extremely tough schedule. We're going to have to see money where your mouth is type deal. And a lot of it is going to be looking at Dylan Larkin, without a doubt. He's been here the longest. He's the captain. We know he got injured a couple years ago, the year that the Red Wings, you know, finished. They lost on the last day of the year, or they won on the last day of the year, but didn't make the playoffs. Larkin got hurt, and we lost like 6-7 games in a row there. And then last year, he really wasn't the dominating force. We needed him to be down the stretch. We need Larkin to be able to set the tone and carry this team into the playoffs. And we really can't accept anything less. Now, like I said, I don't care that he was partying all week. I would have been doing the same thing, probably much worse. But if you're going to party like that and you're going to go that hard and you're going to be on camera and do podcasts and act like that, you got to come back and you got to be gangbusters for the Detroit Red Wings, because people are going to look at that. And if you come back not 100% or you're not yourself or we're losing games, everyone's going to question your character and commitment. And did you check out for this last few months? And whether it's fair or not, it's exactly what is going to happen. So the Red Wings have played 58 games. Obviously, we know it's an 82-game season. And 24 games left. 24 games left through the month of March. And this is put up or shut up time. The end of the season is just crammed into the last part of this year. Games every other day. So it's going to be a gauntlet. It's going to be a battle, and it's going to be who wants it the most. And no more excuses can be made for anybody. Now, trade deadline. Will Yzerman do something? I hope so. We have a good team, but he needs to make a move, I think, even for Yzerman is not one to make a move just to make a move to say he made a move, but I almost feel like from his standpoint, you have to. Guys, Labatt Blue. I mean, what do I even have to say about it? It's my favorite beverage in the world, one of my favorite brands. They gave 300 beers to the showcase this year. Couldn't be happier that they, are on board with Champaign Athletics again. So we love Labatt Blue. We love that crispy Canadian Pilsner. If you're not drinking Labatt Blue, Blue Light, you're really doing a disservice to yourself. So go grab some blues, go grab some ice cold Labatt Blues, and have yourself a time this weekend. There was the amount of Labatt Blue cans at the park was out of control. They sent us 300, but then we bought like 400 more. So that's the beverage of choice everywhere I go. That's what hockey players drink. Born in Canada, brewed in the USA. We love Labatt Blue. Thanks for sponsoring To Be Frank and Champaign Athletics. Now, like I said, I don't think Yzerman's going to just make a move to make a move, but this is the year of all years that Yzerman's had where we're actually buyers at the deadline. Like, no doubt, buyers. I'm very curious to see what he's targeting, what he's trying to do. It seemed like we were very interested and very close to getting Quinn Hughes, who I think is like arguably the best defenseman in the NHL after watching the Olympics. But his price was too high, and he wouldn't sign an extension. It seems like Yzerman wants to acquire someone with a contract already in place that he won't have to extend. Yzerman also probably doesn't want to overpay just to make a move. I do think he's got to do something, though. From the standpoint of top six scoring, because the Red Wings struggle with 5-on-5 scoring, we could definitely use a little more scoring touch, not just on the power play. And then a top three defenseman, a top four defenseman. Mo Seider and Simon Edmondson have been awesome. Ben Sherratt's actually has been good this year. But I think we need some defensive depth, and I think we need it at the top four position. So I'm really hoping that we get one or the other. And if not both. Not sure what capital Yzerman would want to work with. We know he loves his draft picks, but is now the time that he actually moves them? Is there people on the roster we're not thinking of, people in the farm system that could be moved? I'm so curious to understand what Yzerman's loyalty is to the assets that he has and what he's actually willing to give up. And I'm sure he'll want to see, again, how the team comes out of this Olympic break, but he should be very active, and you should see the Red Wings in a lot of rumors for players. Where are we going to go big and get someone like Vincent Trocheck? That would be an awesome acquisition, especially after he just won gold and wants to play for a winner. He's one of the top guys on the trade market. Will we go get Blake Coleman from Calgary? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't never know what Yzerman's thinking, but I know we should be thinking top three defensemen or top six scoring. And we'll see if Yzerman comes through and delivers. Well, that's Wings talk for now. Let's see how they do versus Ottawa tonight. Couple of other housekeeping things I want to talk about. Taylor Decker says he's coming back for the Detroit Lions. I feel like some people are excited about this. I'm a little weary of it just for how injured he's been over the last few years and how big his cap hit is. If he can stay healthy and actually be productive, I think it's great that he's coming back. But this is no Ragnow announcement. This guy has put his blood, sweat, and tears on the line for the Detroit Lions, and I respect that and I love that. But as far as his cap hit goes and his injury history, I don't know if this is the best news for the Lions, because it's like, great, if he's coming back, and then bam, he's out 8 weeks. Now we're in the same position with the offensive line as last year. So a little weary about that. That's pretty much the Lions news and updates I have there. And then the Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons continued to roll. They lost to San Antonio the other night. Wembanyama was an absolute created player. Wild to actually sit down and watch one of his games. He was completely unstoppable. Pistons didn't have an answer for it. Couldn't outwork him, couldn't out-hustle him. I know we were missing Beef Stew, but San Antonio beat us. They beat us fair and square, and they beat us in our own barn. So it was actually nice to see the Pistons get tested by some teams from the Western Conference, who have a record similar to ours. And it showed we still got some work to do. In addition to that, the Oklahoma City Thunder game, that was supposed to be on paper one of the most exciting games of the NBA season, but instead Oklahoma City decided to sit all of their starters. I will never understand the NBA and load management. I don't get how this is such a major rampant issue in the NBA. Can you imagine being a fan and having tickets to that game? Being excited to see the two top teams in the NBA square off, and then Oklahoma City sits their entire starting five or whatever it was. I'd be furious. And I think that's just so ridiculous. And that is such an issue in the NBA. I mean, you're watching, and it's such an easy comparison, especially being a hockey guy, but you watch, Jack Hughes' teeth get blasted out during the Olympics. Now, granted, it's the Olympics. And not miss a shift and then score the game-winning goal. And then, you're back in the States here watching NBA basketball, and Oklahoma City's sitting their starting five for load management in the middle of an NBA season. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know if it's boomer stuff. I don't know if it's hockey stuff, basketball stuff, whatever it is. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't like it. But what I will like is a Detroit Red Wings victory versus the Ottawa Senators tonight. And I do like everyone who came out to the Champagne Showcase and supported for another year. I appreciate every single one of you. If I didn't mention you or I missed you, I do apologize. And another thing I do like and appreciate is all of you listening to Be Frank, episode 3 here. Hope you enjoyed it. Share with a friend, tell a friend, send me any suggestions you have, and we'll be back at it next week. So thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah!